just how important are recalls? And does it matter if you're never notified of one? Seems kind of hypothetical. Well, don't worry, it's not. This is not theoretical. This is real, okay?
Real.
I have some fun little facts about recalls involving real cases, recent ones. Okay, you might want to get your puke bucket because this isn't good. Okay, first, there was an E. coli outbreak, okay, in November of 2024 that nobody knows about, okay? It was a recall that sickened 89 people across 15 states.
Wow.
Resulting in 36 hospitalizations, 7 cases of HUS, and 1 death on a recall that you were never informed about, okay? And per an internal FDA report, the agency made no public communications about the outbreak, and firms were not named because there was no relevant product remaining in commerce by the time the FDA opened its investigation. So your thoughts here are, by the time the FDA found out about the problem, you couldn't buy the product anymore, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, okay.
So these 89 people,
Right.
they fell ill after eating salads that were at catered events, schools, and restaurants. Okay. The
Yeah.
cases were reported in places like Arkansas, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Missouri, Montana, North Dakota, Nebraska, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, Tennessee, and Wisconsin. Pretty far stretch in there. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Now, whole genome sequencing, basically genetic testing,
Right.
showed that all 89 cases were genetically related. Okay. Epidemiological and traceback investigations pointed to romaine lettuce being provided by a sole processor that sourced the lettuce from a single grower. So they were able to take these 89 cases, get them all back to one farm, okay?
That's
as the
bonkers.
reason for the illness, okay? Additionally, the romaine lettuce that made people sick was traced back to a common ranch and lot number, okay? The FDA even conducted an on-farm investigation at the grower, okay? But the agency made no notable observations.
Right.
Like nothing. Nothing was told to the public about it. So how do we even know that this happened? Well, glad you asked. So there is a prominent personal injury attorney named Bill Marler, okay?
Okay.
He is known for representing foodborne illness victims, and he is one of the original sources that reported on this E. coli outbreak, okay?
Oh, wow.
He was the
Okay.
one being verbal and getting people to start talking about it. He has filed multiple lawsuits against Taylor Farms. And if you're not familiar, Taylor Farms, they're a huge farm, like conglomerate, really, that's based out of California. Okay. You can go to almost any grocery store and you're going to see things that say Taylor Farms in the produce section.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're the chopped salad
Now,
people. Like, that's the majority of what they do.
The bag salad people.
Yep.
So when he was asked, Mr. Marler, the personal attorney lawyer, he said, by looking at the WGS data, which is the genetic sequencing, he said that the on-staff epidemiologist determined that the common link was that all clients consumed Taylor Farms romaine lettuce during the outbreak period. But here's the kicker. Taylor Farms says, nope, wasn't us. Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. They know the grower. They know the field. How could they say no?
It all goes back to one place. How do you just say, nah, we didn't do it?
You're like,
that's
nope,
not
that
how
was my
works.
neighbor. Sorry. that wasn't our lettuce. That was those guys' lettuce.
Of course.
Sorry, my bad. Now, the FDA has declined to comment on whether Taylor Farms produced the lettuce. Okay. They're saying they are restricted by federal law from disclosing confidential commercial information. What? We have recalls all the time that name the producer of the products.
Right.
How is that confidential?
None of that is confidential. We have a right to know where our food comes from and what's in it. Like, that's
and especially if it makes people sick,
minimum.
we have the right to know about it.
Yeah.
So Frank Giannis, which is a former FDA deputy commissioner for Food
Mm.
Policy and Response, he explained in a statement provided by Taylor Farms if the FDA lacked sufficient scientific evidence to publicly identify a farm, it would make sense for them not to name a company, as it would do more harm than good.
Right.
Okay? In a statement to NBC News, he also called FDA's lack of transparency about the outbreak disturbing. I find it disturbing too. That first of all, we have an outbreak that affected 90 people, and we know that for every one person that gets contributed to an outbreak, there is potentially 3 to 4 other people that got sick that just didn't report it or didn't go to a hospital. Okay?
Yeah,
So this more than
of
likely
course.
affected way more than 89 people. Just only
Oh, honey.
89 people got violently ill. So, yeah, I would call that disturbing. But
Agreed.
so that's just one case, okay? Are you ready to get your socks knocked off here?
I
These are
like my
recent.
socks.
Yeah, these are recent. So, pork carnitas that were sold at Aldi stores, okay? They were produced from April 1st to April 2nd. They were recalled because of potential metal included in them,
Ooh.
okay? Not something I want in my pork carnitas.
Nope.
The problem was discovered when the establishment, the manufacturers of the product, notified FSIS, which is the Food Safety and Inspection Service, that
Right.
during routine process checks, they found equipment damage that may have contaminated the carnitas. Okay, so this one's not so bad, but here's the kicker. Okay, the FDA, the FSIS, no press release. They put a little notice on their website, that was it. But yet they did notice that this product is no longer for sale, so they don't have to remove anything from the shelves, but they're concerned that some consumers may still have it in their fridge or their freezers, but not concerned enough to actually put out a press release about it.
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
That's
we got
safe.
more. Chomp's beef sticks were just recalled because of another possible metal contamination. The problem was discovered after the manufacturer notified FSIS that 2 consumers complained about pieces of metal in the product. So quality assurance didn't catch it. They didn't catch broken equipment. This got all the way to consumers who found metal.
Ew.
Just recently, Johnsonville cheddar bratwurst was recalled due to possible hard plastic contamination. The
Ew.
problem was discovered after the manufacturer notified FSIS that it had received 2 customer complaints.
Oh.
Same thing. This got all the way to consumers. Consumers had to complain. Now think about it. When was the last time you ate something that tasted off, that tasted bad, that had a weird texture? Normally, you just throw it away and you move on with the rest of your day.
Right.
You don't necessarily go, I need to go figure out who made this and go contact them and let them know I found hard plastic in my bratwurst.
Plastic, I might. Plastic would be a whole different conversation. Like foreign bodies. Like there was one time I found a rock in my food from Panera. But like it was a little pebble that was in my bowl.
Did you
But
go through and contact the company and let them know you had Rocky Road in your sandwich?
yes, it was a salad. But yes, I did. Actually, I was thinking it was a soup. I don't remember. But there was a rock. But like there was like fruits and vegetables and things growing on the ground. Sometimes you end up with a rock and they were great and but it just happened to be something like that. So like foreign bodies, yes, I'm definitely more inclined to reach out to the company. But like if I have something that just the quality didn't seem quite right or it didn't taste good, like that's more of maybe it's just spoiled or something happened in translation or during shipping.
Yeah, that maybe, temperature wasn't maintained, something
That
along
part.
those lines. But
Right.
this bothers me because A, we are slashing funding for the FDA left and right. I don't even know how many people are left in the FDA at this point. I know that we no longer are testing liquid milk. By the way, we were
God.
previously testing liquid milk for bird flu, that big outbreak we keep seeing all over the place. I
Well,
know that
that we're not seeing anymore, actually, which is even more concerning if we're
that is a
honest.
little scary. Yeah. I mean, but egg prices are going down, so everything must be okay, right?
Hooray.
Because the FDA is looking out for us. The 3 people left at the FDA. Wait a minute, they
Fred,
cut the
Danny,
group
and
of
Andy.
people. They cut the group of people that do quality. tests on products found in grocery stores. Okay, we have talked a lot about how corporations, especially food corporations, they have to self-regulate. We talked about the generally regarded as safe, where they can put products in their, they can put ingredients in their food as long as they're generally regarded as safe and they fill out a little paperwork. But now I'm seeing more and more where the only way we're finding out about recalls and possibly damaging product to the American public is because we're relying on the manufacturer to tell the FDA, to tell FSIS that there's a problem or that they get a tip. Okay.
Yeah.
This scares the crap out of me.
Oh, I agree. I 100% agree, because we're putting the patients at the helm of the asylum. For
Yeah.
real though. There's no standards. And the standards
And
that we've
then to
had for
make it
years haven't.
better, we're letting the patients run just wild because we took all the guards out, because we canceled everybody in the FDA.
Well, now I've determined that the FDA stands for Fred, Danny, and Andy, because that's all that's left.
Pretty That's pretty good. I mean, this is the watchdog that is supposed to be keeping our food safe. How safe is our food if there's no watchdog? Because we know from the past that these food corporations, they don't always do the right thing.
No. No, we
And
rely
so
on those regulations.
how much trust do we have in food companies? And how much trust do we have that they're actually going to report a problem when there is a problem? Because they
Right.
didn't catch the problem before it got to us.
And how many people have to get hurt before it reaches them?
And just because you get hurt doesn't mean that other people will be warned that there's a possible problem. So let us know down below. A, do you hate recalls as much as I do, especially when you find out exactly how that recall comes about? And two, are you scared with all these FDA cuts that we're either going to have a massive increase in recalls, or worse, we're just not going to know about them? Let me know down below.